Hi, welcome to Strength Training 1. I'm here with Randy. We're getting ready to start the workout. Hope you're ready for us. We'll start with a nice bonus warm-up that you don't have in your book. Let's start off with a side lunge and a crossover lunge combo. So here we go. We'll do 10 cycles to each direction.
All right, ready to
So
go.
there's that side lunge, crossing over left. That's one. Excellent. Getting down as deep as he possibly can. He's got great hip rotation as he comes through here. Perfect. Each time we're going to try and get as deep as we can on this end. At this point, left leg should stay straight, really getting into a big stretch in the glute. As soon as he finishes his 10 cycles, he's going to switch and move to the other side. Excellent job, Randy.
That's 9.
That's 9. Beautiful.
And 10.
And 10. All right, now he's going to come this way. Lateral lunges on this side, crossing over in front. He's got his head nice and high, looking up at the anchor. Sound a little creaky on this side, a little creaky.
Feeling a little creaky.
It's early. We're going to warm up fast. Excellent, Rand. Really try and get some good extension out on this side. Nice and low. Really nice and low. You're going to feel one side is maybe a little bit less mobile than the other. That's all right. Excellent. Straight down there. Perfect.
9.
This should be at a high tempo.
And 10.
Excellent work. All right, let's pivot around. We're not going to take much of a rest here because we're warming up. This is going to be just a forward lunge with a side bend overhead into the lead leg. So we'll do 10 to each side. That's it. Drive forward. Good. There's that step. Come straight forward towards me. Excellent job. We're looking to drive that hip to one side as the hands move to the other. Perfect. Really opening up here in his side, getting a little bit deeper maybe with that lunge, and trying to recover in and out quickly. Again, 10 to this side and then 10 to the other.
And 10.
Beautiful. Let's work to the other side right away. Trying to get that heart rate up a little bit. Driving in. Excellent work. Again, you may feel that one side is slightly tighter than the other. These two warm-up exercises are great for increasing mobility, blood flow, and really getting us set for the demands of the workout that's almost ready to come. Nice job, Randy. Finish this off. Excellent work. He's coming in and out.
And 10.
Beautiful. You should be feeling kind of loose, ready to go. We're going to start off with a suspended lunge. So to do that, let's get that handle into single handle mode. And we want to adjust it so the very bottom is about 12 inches from the ground. So again, you remember that single handle mode from the setup and use
All right.
section. Excellent. So we're in there. Let's get our left foot up in there to begin with. We'll start with right foot down. We're going to start off nice and slow. We want to make sure that we've got really good stability and form here. So we'll start off now. Let's do 10 on each side. We want to come straight down. Excellent. Get a little bit lower if you can. That back knee should almost touch the ground if you can make it. If not, strive towards it. Excellent. A slight bend forward with those shoulders. Randy's got a nice gait pattern going with his arm. We'll do 10 on this side and then switch off. We'll switch it right away and then we'll have 45 seconds in between. So let's switch right away to the other side.
Off on this
Excellent job. And away we go. Again, we're looking for a nice, slow, controlled movement down. His knee is staying right over top of his middle toe. That's perfect. Looking straight down, eyes forward, chest high at the top. A little bit lower on this side if you can. As we go a little bit lower, we're starting to increase that hip mobility. This is building us great single leg strength. Nice work. So 45 seconds rest. We're going to run through that one more time. There's some great benefits going on with this exercise.
Tell you what, this thing, we're carrying rucks under loads, building up the stability through all the way from the hips down through the bottom of the feet.
It's fantastic for all of that. The other thing that's happening is we're getting good proprioception in our feet. That means on uneven surfaces, we're less likely to sprain an ankle or create an injury there. And we've got good mobility and strength in our hips. Combined with what's going on in our foot, that's going to reduce knee injuries. So all those things are super key for the military person. We've got about 10 seconds before we're ready to start our second set. Let's start to get that foot up again. All right, and we're up in about 3 seconds. 2, 1, let's go. Let's add a little bit of speed to it this time. Dropping down a little bit faster. This is a progression, so if you're not ready to do this yet, don't start with it, but as you move along, we want to go a little bit faster. Good, making it more lifelike and more functional. That's it. Nice job. It's very, very common for that quick little loss of balance. Try and stay with it. We'll move right to the other leg. Excellent. Now again, you always want to start off a little bit slowly to begin with. Make sure you've got your technique and add speed only when you've got perfect form.
6.
Nice gait pattern. Drive through it. Heart rate should be starting to get up nice and high through this.
And 10.
Nice job. Well done, Randy. Most of you should be feeling a little bit of a burn at home. If you're starting on an easier progression, well, you probably didn't do the second set. You may have had a little bit more of a rest, and you're just striving to get to where Randy is right now. At advanced principles, you're making that look like nothing. All right, well, we've got about 30 seconds before we start into the single leg squat. So for this one, we're going to want the handles into double handle mode, and we're going to lean back against it. Now our goal with the single leg squat is really to build towards being able to do a single leg squat without anything at all. Most people can't do that. In fact, about only 1% of the population can. So we're up in about 5 seconds, leaning back against it. As light a grip as you can have on the handles. That other leg is in front. We'll start on our right leg. Away we go. Straight down, straight up. Good depth. Go a little bit slower if you can. Really get into the bottom. You want to really engage that glute and hamstring. Extend out of the bottom. Well done, Randy. Right down, straight up. Keep that head up high on that anchor. Really looking to get a big load through the glutes, quads, and hamstrings. This is all leg movement. Excellent. Again, we're going to switch directly to the other leg. Our 45 seconds rest comes after that. Straight down. Randy's doing a great job keeping a light grip on the handles. Again, he's getting his knee to come nice and far forward, really getting into a real squat position that will lead him to be able to do this without the TRX. Last couple, keep that head up nice and high. Head up nice and high. Extend through there, beautiful. Well done. We've got a 45-second rest, and we'll roll into that again.
Starting to feel those.
You look like you have a little bit of a glow.
Yeah, that's just my happiness of being here.
All right, we're starting back to that initial leg. You're definitely gonna feel some fatigue at this point.
Yes.
After doing 2 sets of suspended lunge onto the second set of our single leg squat. Again, this is great single leg strength. Big extension through the hips. Excellent for carrying loads. Again, single leg balance, single leg power.
We've got a nice break here, though, at this point in the program. Really gives yourself a chance for the heart rate to come back down, be ready for the next one. That'll go away as the program progresses.
And speaking of progression, we're 3 seconds away. We're going to move a little bit faster this time. Away we go. So down again, a slightly more advanced progression here in the second set. Randy's getting down just as deep, but starting to add speed and power. Much more demanding, both for his legs and cardiovascularly.
9 and
Excellent, and switch right away. We're gonna get our tempo a little bit higher through this second section. Get nice and deep, nice and deep. Come on now, get down if you can. As far as you can, drive up. Light grip, finish it off now. Come on now, finish it. Last 2.
10.
Beautiful. Again, a 45-second rest, and how are those legs feeling? Nice. Nice, good stuff. We've got one more leg exercise that's gonna happen from a standing position. This is called the sprinter's start. Now, if you haven't watched our exercise library, make sure you do, because this one has got some technicalities in terms of getting into it, but once you've got it, it's fantastic. Great ground reaction force. What we're gonna do is let's have the TRX is coming underneath our arms and fall right into it like this. So you see in this case, Randy's hands are tucked right into his armpits pretty much. They're going to stay there. Now what we're going to do is get in a nice deep position, getting ourselves set. You see this is very, very athletic. We're up in about 3 seconds, and away we go into that sprinter start. Driving up, driving up. Good. Really what we're looking for is all of this extension right here coming up through his glutes, driven from his hamstrings. His quads are really going to start to burn as he decelerates that movement back. This back leg is doing very little, just touching down for balance. Everything is happening from that front leg. Finish off that 10. There it is. So we did 10 slow to begin with, and now we're doing the 10 fast. This is the second component of the set. That's it. Drive through. Try and keep up with Randy at home. Excellent. We're going to switch again right to that other side, and then we get our break. So here we are in position. We're starting off with 10 nice and slow. We look at this. We've got really good alignment. His head is staying up nice and high. His hips are staying behind his shoulders. Exactly what we want to see. At the end of the 10, then it gets serious. We'll start to add 10 fast ones. Go. Here they come. Now notice he's almost ballistic, but not quite. In later progressions, we're going to add a third 10 that has power, where his foot will be leaving the ground. That's it, drive it up, drive it up. Finish it now, come on now. Beautiful. Now we get those 45 seconds rest and
I'm appreciating them.
perfect. So, from somebody who comes from a military experience, can you see how those would add to?
Oh man, when you talk about, again, putting a load on, managing laterally the balance and sprinting, getting up, getting down, charging upstairs, climbing. Yeah.
Super, super
different ways.
explosive. Again, this is a great way to add an explosive component to your program. So we start off with some slow movement, starting to get faster, and we're up in about 15 more seconds. Again, you should feel your heart rate starting to come down just a little bit, but only a little bit. You shouldn't get full recovery between these sets. So let's make sure we start off with that same foot. We're up in 4 seconds. Get yourself set and go. Nice and slow, control it. If you want to make this more difficult, you can always get a little bit deeper. Randy's got a good depth right here. As he progresses, he'll be able to go deeper as well. Perhaps maybe only in his younger years.
Easy, easy.
Excellent, Randy. Here we go. Let's have the fast ones. Good. Notice that back leg is just touching down and going. Everything is coming from that front leg, especially the deceleration. Controlling that movement back is the real key to leg strength and functional leg strength. Nice job. Let's switch sides. We'll finish off this standing leg stuff. There it is, nice and slow, nice and slow. Now, one of the other things you may have noticed is that Randy's keeping this leg back. You can drive the knee forward, but when we get to that third power set of 10, and we're gonna ask for him to lift off, that's gonna mean he doesn't have time to pull that knee all the way forward, and he's gotta come up behind, so make sure you understand how that works. Here comes a fast up, straight up and down, up and down. Good. He's coming right up onto his toe. We haven't talked about it yet, but this is super key. Driving up onto the toe really completes the movement and makes it the most functional. Excellent job.
Whoa, yeah.
All right, most people will be ready to lie down right now, and luckily we've got that programmed in. So we're gonna do some leg stuff from a supine position. So at home, make sure you're adjusting the TRX. The bottom of the loops should be about 12 inches off the ground, and we'll be set to do some of this supine work. All right, let's get you to lie down here on your back. Randy's already adjusted it, and now we're gonna put your heels into the TRX. We've got about 15 more seconds before we're gonna start this particular set.
What are we off on this time, Fraze?
Hamstring curls. So let's get those heels in the TRX. We're up in about 5 seconds. There we are. Again, you can use this pendulum principle. Bridge your hips up and off the ground. Make sure your toes are pulled towards you or dorsiflexed, and away you go. 10 of them. Excellent. Nice and slow and controlled. Now again, if you feel that this isn't hard enough, you can always move yourself this way, or you can start to elevate your hips, and we'll show you that in the second set. These toes are staying nice and dorsiflexed or pulled towards his knees. That's very important. Beautiful. Now we've got a 45-second rest.
I'll take it.
So our pace is starting to slow down now that we're using kind of bilateral movement, meaning both legs are coming back at once as opposed to training one leg at a time.
But you'll appreciate that slowing of the pace, I promise.
All right, so how are those hamstrings feeling? Not so bad after the first one?
Not just yet, but they're getting there.
The first 3 exercises tend to be very, very quad heavy. We're sort of shifting it. This is a bit of an isolation work for those all-important hamstrings and extensors. Some of the other things that are going on here, and you may feel it, this is especially good as a side benefit for back injuries, is we're really getting some good extension here in his back to maintain that position. That's developing some great back strength. So we're up in about 5 seconds.
And that's particularly true when I'm elevating the hips, right?
And we're gonna start this one with just a little bit of a harder progression with high elevations. Away we go. Hips are up nice and high. Now you see the difference here. This is much more demanding. He's getting his heels much further away from that neutral point. Very, very difficult. Drive it up, man. Come on down. Push up hard. That's it. Beautiful.
9 and 10.
Excellent job. All right. So we're not moving from here. You get a nice 45 seconds just down in this position, but our next exercise is called the hip press, and it's a great companion for the hamstring curls. Very similar in some ways, except it's going to demand a little bit more glute stuff and a little bit more from your high hamstrings. So we're going to take these knees and pull them straight into about a 90-degree bend. Now Randy's moved himself in. That's because this exercise is quite demanding. In this position would have had him way in front of that neutral position. So from a pendulum principle perspective, this is much better. So we've got his knees at 90 degrees. The important thing is this angle stays the same. So if you're doing these and you find those legs are starting to extend out, Got to pull them back a little bit and control what's happening here. We're going to take the hips, drive them straight up in the air. We'll start right now for 10, driving them up. Looking for a straight line from knees to hips to shoulders. All the way up, right here in those hamstrings. Drive it. I can feel how much he's getting good contraction here in his hamstrings and his glutes. A little bit higher. Squeeze it at the top. Little squeeze at the top. Beautiful job. And that's his 10. So 45 seconds. We'll rest it, and this will be almost the end of the leg. This is a tough hamstring sequence.
This is. It's
Again,
a great
one of the important things here is we're getting this dorsiflexion or pulling of the toes towards the knees. If we were to point those toes out or plantar flex them, what that would cause is a huge calf cramp, and we really want to avoid that. So making sure we've got those toes back enhances this quite a bit. So we've got about 15 more seconds of rest. Make sure you take it. Again, as this program progresses, the rest starts to go away. So take it while you've got it.
Now by now you should be able to feel your heart rate really have come down, be able to focus on good form, getting the most out of each repetition.
Exactly. All right, so we're going to go right away. Driving it straight up. Good. That's it. Now for something a bit different, you could internally rotate or put those knees right together, and that's going to change the stress a little bit in your hamstrings, making it a little bit more difficult as you tweak some of the helpers out. Beautiful job. All right. We've got one more thing to do from this supine position. For it, I think Randy's going to have to move himself out. It's called a hamstring bicycle. Now in this one, we've been working bilaterally. We talked about that before a little bit, both legs moving at once. In this case, the hamstring bicycle, we're going to move one leg at a time. So again, dropping those heels in the TRX, you want to make sure that if you're working on a single-sided anchor like this pole, you're slightly in front of it so you're not butting up against it each time. In this case, what we're going to do is pull one knee back at a time in a bicycle-like movement. Okay, so really want to make sure you get your hips high off the ground. You can have both hands flat on the ground like this to progress it, hands to stomach, or even hands behind the head to make it very difficult. Let's go. We'll do 20 of them total, alternating sides. Drive in, drive out. Be very deliberate each time. Drive back as far as you can. Hips up high. That's it. Let's get those hips up a little bit higher if you can. Good. I suppose it is easy for me to say. Excellent job, Ran. Right back to my hand. Right back to it. Beautiful. Nice job. Way to hit that target. Finishing it up. Hips up, hips up, hips up. Beautiful job. All right. Let's come away from that supine position. We can come back to our feet, and we're going to move on to our upper body. Your legs should be feeling about done.
Did you want me to do that second set or not?
I think that second set might be a good idea. I was getting ahead of myself.
Fair enough.
Always the person who's doing the program is more aware of how many sets we've actually done.
A lesser man would have taken it.
A lesser man might have. A greater man may be sorry he did.
All right.
All right, so we've got about 15 seconds or so before we go. Last set for our legs. All right, so let's rally for this one. We've got 10 more seconds. We'll come up. I think in this one, we're going to pull Randy away just a tiny little bit. He's had an awful easy time with that one, and he did remind me of this second set.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, so hips are up high.
Does a lot.
And drive. Again, we're applying that pendulum principle, and if you haven't watched our setup and use section, we go over it in a lot of detail there. So 20 of these. This is a lot of hard work. Randy's doing a great job. He's making it look relatively easy in comparison to how he probably feels. At the end of hamstring curls, hip press, and now onto the bicycles, plus all of that standing work we did, this is a tough way to finish. That's it, Randy. Beautiful. All right, we can come up. Your hamstrings are probably ringing a little bit if you did a real good effort all the way through there.
I hate to leave my dirt farm down here.
You definitely wouldn't want to do that. You can tell that Randy's been in amongst the dirt with this one. All right, so we're going to move on to our upper body. And in this case, we're going to save some of the big parts of our upper body for day 2 or the second of our suspension training workouts. Here we're going to hit the smaller ones. So starting with a high bicep curl is where we want to be. So in this case, extending the TRX all the way out, you want to start off with a nice big extension. Okay, now Randy's got his foot offset, give him a little bit of traction. We've got about 5 seconds before we go. Palms are facing up, and you're going to pull straight to your temples. Away we go. Get nice and deep with it. Deep as you can. Excellent. Now for those of you who think that you can't get good bicep work with just your body weight, You'll be sadly mistaken at the end of this set and know it. We're looking for 10 of them. He's got great extension. Right up here, his chest is out, his eyes are high, pulling right up to his temples.
That's 9.
Beautiful. One more. Well done, Randy. 45 seconds rest before we have to do that again. Now, your biceps are a small muscle group, and you may think this is an isolation exercise.
Some smaller than others.
I suppose you're right. In this case, it looks like it's an isolation exercise, but there's a lot going on. Where else are you feeling this?
Oh man, I mean, your core engaged, you've got balance issues, you're certainly feeling it through your upper back, and even obliques to hold that platform.
Lots of shoulder stability. You have to keep those shoulder blades retracted.
Upper back.
The other thing is your feet are on the ground, so you are getting a good ground reaction as we're rolling through this. So we've got about 10 seconds to go. Let's get down, see if we can start in a deeper position. Even if you can't make it all the way through, we can back it off. We're gonna apply that vector resistance. I'm gonna push him hard this set. So getting down nice and deep, and go. That's it, drive it up. Come on now.
Do it.
You can give him a little kiss at the top.
I prefer you didn't.
I was actually saying you could give them a little kiss at the top. Thank you very much for the offer. Now, as soon as it gets too hard, move yourself back just a little bit, back a little bit, and finish it off. This is a beauty of being able to adjust your resistance on the fly. Well done.
Ooh, yeah.
You can quickly move your feet back as soon as you kind of hit a failure point where you don't think you can make the set. Drive back a little ways, and you're all right. We're going to switch out. That was our second set of the bicep curl, thankfully. So we're going to switch out and move on to triceps.
Some tricep work.
So now this tricep work, we're going to do 2 different ways today. We'll show you as kind of an isolated movement, but from there we're going to move on to something that's maybe a little bit bigger and someone would say more functional.
Sounds great.
All right, so we'll start off with your hands straight out in front of you, leaning in. Now there's a whole lot of core engagement that happens right away. What we're going to do is drop our head sort of towards our hands and then drive out in the way, holding onto our elbows in good position. Let's go, 10 of them. Again, Randy's got this foot in front. He's got a bit of a self spot going on, which is perfect. And he's driving himself forward, really having to push away on the TRX. There's lots of movement for his wrist to switch positions. Driving in. Nice job. Perfect. And again, as we see him do that, we're seeing lots of core engagement as you come forward.
You can really drive into that as hard as you can possibly take. And then help yourself with just enough to get back up to the starting position. Stay at the threshold almost the entire set.
We've got lots of shoulder stability going on there. We've talked about the core engagement, as well as obviously your triceps. I'm sure feeling like they did something.
Well, whether they look it or not, yes.
You strive for the horseshoe. So in this case, what we're going to do, we're going to go a little bit deeper, but we're going to let more of his body work. So kind of falling forward into almost a soccer throw-in, driving in. That engages our lats and our chest and allows us to coordinate that movement to come back to that extension. So we're going to start off with this. Again, if you're in early progression, you can ignore this section. This is for a little bit higher. Ready?
Ready.
All right, let's roll. Last 10. Boom. Now he's falling in a little bit harder. This is kind of a great deceleration of the movement, all driving through his triceps, into his chest and lats, driving forward. Excellent. And again, you can control how hard or how easy this is simply by adjusting your foot position. That's it, Randy. Come on now, finish these off. Last couple. Beautiful. And last one. Nice job. All right, we're on to the last 3 exercises and into our core. So we've kind of been using our core pretty much the whole workout, but now we're going to target it specifically. So the first one is that high rotation. For that, I want you to put the TRX into a single handle mode.
Single handle mode, feeding from the bottom once, switching hands, feeding through from the bottom again, and always locking it off and weight testing it to make sure that I've got it locked correctly in place.
Absolutely. And in this exercise, we also want to make sure that you've got the TRX fully lengthened. So definitely make sure that it's lengthened all the way out. I think we're good here. All right, so nice wide stance, leaning back against it. Make sure you're grounded well through your feet. Your hips stay steady as you rotate and come right up to the side. Let's go. We'll go 10 to each side. Or, yeah, so 10 to one side and then 10 to the other. Good. All the way up and through. Now you can see the kind of rotational power we're getting here. He's driving through his hips, driving all the way up all the way through his obliques, connecting obliques into rectus and the other side. Also, his extensors are working pretty hard here. This is an incredible movement for any sort of combative sport or any kind of movement under load. Excellent job. Let's immediately switch to the other side. Now, when we switch to the other side, we want to change our hand position so that if we're moving to Randy's right at this point, his left hand is on the inside of the handle. That's it. Pulling across. As far as you can, right over here. Good. That's it. As you're doing this, you should feel your full abdominals engaged, as well as movement through your hips, glutes. Last two, drive all the way up and over. Nice work. All the way up and over. Beautiful. 45 seconds rest, we get to do that all over again.
That is a great exercise for supporting loads on your shoulders, going through all range of functional movement, wearing body armor, getting that body armor back after a day standing around in gear, all that rotational power and range of motion. Great stuff.
And when you're loaded like that, we're never really walking in a straight line. There's all this rotation that happens, and being able to control that and decelerate that is super, super key to prevent injuries.
Now, one quick point that we might make is the range of motion here. I'm stopping just before I have to support myself to the front of the foot, making sure I get that full range of rotational motion.
Absolutely. In the second set, you'll see there's no slack in the TRX, which goes back to what we talked about in our basic principles. Away we go. Second set. Good. And again, as you're going along through this workout, don't be afraid to challenge your strength. If you can go just a touch deeper, even if it means you can only do the first 5 at that level and then go back, or using the last 5 to really see what you've got, push yourself. Driving up and through, up and through.
Keep my arms as straight as I can.
Absolutely. And making sure you're grounded well through the foot that's on the same side you're rotating to is super important. Excellent. Immediately switch. Remember to switch that hand grip. That's really important as well. And driving across. Perfect. And again, you can see how much rotation is going on here. He's got this hip that comes through, and that drives the whole movement right from basically his hip all the way across to his chest into that handle. And of course, it's all body weight based. Nothing's more functional than being able to work with your own body. Last two, come on now. Straight towards me. Hop. Beautiful. All right, so now we're going to take the TRX out of that single handle mode and move to one of my favorite exercises. This is the side plank with PAPs. We're going to do it from our elbow.
Oh, good.
For this, you want to adjust the TRX so it's about, again, 8 to 12 inches off the ground, and we'll put our toes in the TRX. So that means sitting down, getting your toes in, and rolling over to one side. We're going to start off, we'll face this way to begin with.
Facing you or facing away?
Facing away from me.
Put my toes in one at a time. In this case, crossing right foot over left.
Good. Now, Randy's got a good point. He's got his right foot over his left. He's going to tuck that heel, kind of go a heel to toe there. Now, he's on his elbow here, making sure he's got a nice broad base support up into this side plank position, reaching high to the sky. And now he's going to come under, and he's going to look for my hand underneath, hiking up, and then all the way back to it on this side. Good. Look at that movement. We've got great movement here at his hips, looking for 10 of them, all the way through. Beautiful. Excellent job, Randy. Now, he's making an easy job of this, but it's much harder than it looks. Keep working at it, though, and you'll be able to do these with the same kind of fluidity we're seeing Randy do them here. Excellent job. It's beautiful. Now, important, to roll over, roll to the ground, and then move to the other side. And in this case, we're going to start right into it, straight up, straight down. Look at all of this hip movement we've got here. We don't just want to reach under and keep our hips nice and flat. That's not what we want to see. We want it a nice piking position up and reaching as far under and as far back as we can. It's especially important to reach back. It's engaging all of these retraction, all that retraction through your shoulder blades, which is going to help increase shoulder mobility and reduce injuries in your shoulders. Beautiful. 45 seconds and we get to do that all over again. I think I've got a little surprise for Randy for this one too. If you're working with a partner and you're feeling particularly evil, what you can do is start to add a real negative impulse to it, meaning that he's got to decelerate some action down. So as we get set, we're going to start off facing you, And as he comes up, I'm actually going to give him a little push, just a small one at the top, that he's going to have to decelerate right through his sides.
How are we doing on time here, Fraser?
I think we've got about 10 seconds.
All right. I'll get back down to my mud pool.
All right, so we're down here. We're almost through. Coming straight up and go. Good. I'm going to give him a little tug now. There, he's got to push down. That's it. We'll just do it for the first 5. Excellent work. Good. Good. Last one I'm going to give you right here. Good, and now let's finish it off. So now I've really pre-fatigued him. I've given him a big negative impulse, and now he's got to finish it. And look at his range. He's doing a brilliant job opening right up through his chest, getting good engagement back there. Let's roll over, and we'll do the same thing on this side. So up he comes, and I'm going to drive him down. There's 1, 2, come on now. 3, 4, last one, 5. And now he's going to finish these off all on his own, all the way up. Beautiful. This is incredibly hard. Really try and stay with it with you at home. Last couple. Up. 1 more. You can do it. Right here. Beautiful. 1 more exercise to do. It's called the body saw. Now we're going to show this to you a couple different ways because in your program it progresses a few times during the course of the program. So how are your sides feeling, first of all, before we get to it?
Well, that negative impulse tap is a real joy.
It's, as I said, it's only to be done if you're feeling a little bit evil and if the person has already pretty much mastered the side plank with taps. So, to get into the body saw, we're going to be in a plank position with our feet suspended. Randy's already got his feet in there. We're going to do this from our elbows. Now, you can do it from your hands if you want to, but it's incredibly difficult from there. So to start off with, we will start with our hands, but we'll start off just with that suspended crunch. Okay. We'll just do about 3 or 4 of those.
On hands, is that what?
On hands, yeah. So we'll just do these for you people just starting the program, you'll note the first 5 of these are suspended crunch, and then we're going to get to what we really do. Let's go down to our elbows and do that body saw. So we'll finish off with his 5 body saws, straight back and straight forward. Now this is really key. See how he's opening up through his shoulders as far as he can, a little bit of a pike at the top, making sure that we don't get any sort of a dip in his shoulders. This is a small movement, just 1 more. Beautiful, and down. Now that's just a small movement, but that's incredibly difficult for your core to manage as you increase that lever length.
Yes, it is. I'm here to vouch for that.
So we've got 45 seconds rest, and we've got 1 more set to do, and that's it.
And we're showing this as a progression because at the beginning of the program, we're doing the suspended crunches that Fraser just had me do. At the end of the program, we're doing those same exercises with a body saw as a preload, and it's downright savage at that point. So
what we're going to do in this second set, we'll start off the first 5 will be that same body saw we just saw, and then we're going to move to the combination where we combine that body saw preload into the suspended crunch, which is very, very challenging. All right, so let's get ourselves out. Body saw. Make sure you're far enough away from your ankle, you're not going to bang into anything, and extend out and in. That's it. There, and just do a little adjust. So see, he's got a nice opening back, and now, here we go, last 5. So you see that body saw preload, boom, and power into the knees to chest. Into the knees to chest. Good, last couple, come on now, finish it off at home. Come on now, you can do it, last 2. Straight back, straight up. Beautiful job. Nice work, man.
Oh, boy.
Well, you can see that that's a tough and condensed workout.
Fast and furious. And dirty.
And dirty, yeah. Hopefully you were able to work up the same kind of sweat at home as Randy did here. We hope to see you for the second workout.
We're looking forward to it.